Teaching the children with special needs. Today under this we are going to deal with the topic teaching children with visual impairment in an inclusive classroom. The objective of this lesson is to understand the adaptations and adjustments required while teaching a visually impaired child in a regular classroom. Visual impairment is a broad term used to describe the complete or partial loss of vision. The greatest challenge most of the children with visual impairment face are difficulties in mobility, difficulties in understanding and using the non-verbal communication, and difficulties with written communication and to write with a regular tasks. The effect of visual loss depends on degree of factors, on a number of factors like degree or loss of vision, and also on the early identification and the early interventional services and the parents and teachers involvement, as well as when the visual loss occurred, if it was before the basic communication or whether the language and visual recognition was developed and then the visual loss has occurred. It is important to realize that the children who are born blind or who lost their vision at a very early age have some quite different needs and face quite different barriers than the children who lost their vision fully or partially later during their childhood. The practical tips when dealing or teaching the children with visual impairments. We have to select the books with good print quality and layout. The text should ideally be left aligned with even a left margin and uneven right margin. This will make it easier for the children with low vision to read and with a minimum of assistive devices. It will also benefit other children who are struggling with reading. The book and other reading material should be provided in Braille for those who depend on Braille for reading and writing. The books should be provided for free or at the same price as the sighted children pay for their book. The children who write Braille should have access for writing frames and stylus for free, or sometimes they can be priced as much as a pen or a pencil cost. Appropriate visual devices should be provided to the children with low vision based on their individual needs as well as the availability of these devices. Orientation and mobility. The orientation and mobility training should be provided so that the children will know how to move with a wide cane and use the trailing techniques as well as the touch and protection technique, effective use of the landmarks including the sound and ecosystems, and guiding techniques like a human guide as well as the techniques for free movement in space. Then the space awareness activities. These activities enable the children with visual impairment to move about in a space in order to feel confident and in control of their own bodies and their own movements. Activities for daily living. Many children with visual impairment need a training in performing the daily tasks that for most other children are learnt by mimicking or copying their parents, siblings or peers. These are among the others like going to the toilet, washing, dressing, tying the shoelaces, eating and drinking without spilling, and pouring a glass of water, use of cutlery. These are some of the activities of daily living which needs to be trained in a visually impaired child. If there are children with albinism in the class, it becomes important to make sure that their eyes and skin is protected from the sun when they are playing outside or having physical education. Ideally, we can have a long sleeves or long trousers, skirts with stockings, caps and the sun glasses because their skin can burn very easily in the sun. The children with albinism are therefore extremely vulnerable to the skin cancer. So, this is an introduction to visual impairment of a child. Now let us see what are the classroom arrangements that we need to make when we are having a visually impaired child in an inclusive education. Seat the child with visual impairment so that they can hear well, because they will depend more on their hearing than most of the other children, both of learning and participation. If some classrooms in the school are more noisier than the other, the school should be flexible and move the class who has the children with visual impairment to other classes where there is less noise. Seat the children with low vision so that they can maximize the use of their residual vision, as well as they prevent them from being blinded by the light. The reflection from the sunshine and any other light sources will prevent the child from getting blinded. Many children who are blind have some light perception and feel bothered by light, while others benefit from the light because they will be able to use their light perception for mobility purposes and other purposes. But a child with visual impairment will not be able to use the light. The seating arrangements should be fixed or at least not changed frequently, so that the children can orient themselves and find their way to their seats independently, as well as know where all their friends are seated. Likewise, it is important the objects in the classroom like the books, the learning material and the devices should not be moved around too much. Have fixed places so that the child with visual impairment can find these things independently. Think about a goal and should be set for the child with visual impairment, like what should be learned throughout the school year, and try to find the ways and strategies to help the child in achieving this goal. Spend some time to explain to the child with visual impairment about the process of the learning in the class before starting the class, especially in class where a series of different activities are required, like in a science experiments, the physical education or a cookery class or a craft classes. It is also important to explain and show how different equipment that is used in the classwork, because the children with visual impairment may not be able to follow the general instructions given to normal children. Read everything that is written on the blackboard aloud and slowly. Try to speak while facing the children, not away from the children, because children with visual impairment, they greatly depend upon their hearing and receiving information, and they need to hear you very clearly. And involve the other children in the class to help or explaining a visual concept to a person who cannot see, because it is interesting challenge for the sighted children and adults to can help them to see the things from different perspective and depending on their understanding of the shapes, colors and functions. Assisting the friends with visual impairment will contribute greatly to their social, emotional and academic development, and also it is mutually very enriching experience. Encourage the class to think about how to include their peers with visual impairment in physical education programs. Inclusion is not just the responsibility of the teachers alone, but also of the students. Through physical education, children can learn how to include their peers with disabilities in after-school activities as well. This is one of the most important points in inclusive education, because the children with visual impairment tend to be excluded from most of the after-school activities, even when they are included in a regular classroom activities. The use of real objects that the child can feel and handle rather than just working abstractly with pen and paper. This is very important for all children and especially for the children with visual impairment. It is difficult for a child with visual impairment to understand the concept of things, especially when they are very large and very small things. Therefore, provide as many opportunities as possible for the children to touch different things. If a big tree has fallen down or been cut down near the school, take the children there so that they can touch and see how big the tree is. This will provide them a better understanding of the size, the height and the length concept. This is especially for the child with visual impairments. Remember that it takes much longer time to take or write Braille characters in ink letters. One character can have up to sometimes 5 dots. Those dots are embossed separately when using the stylus and writing frame. So, sufficient time should be given to the visually impaired child to take down the notes in Braille. So, these are some of the practical tips when having a visually impaired child in a regular classroom. After having understood what is visual impairment and what are the classroom arrangements that are needed when we are having a visually impaired child in the class, let us now move on to see some need specific approaches. Learning through the non-visual modes like the touch, using the real concrete material, then listening, including a greater use of detailed descriptive instructions, smell and taste, using smell and taste associated with the concrete real material. Then next is the need for specific consideration. Use existing visual skills where and when you can sit or closer to the blackboard. Lesser use of reflective surfaces should be made so that it will help the child with visual impairment in the class. Appropriate lighting, use of contrast colors, use of specialized materials like Braille, math kits, etc. can be used, and use of orientation and mobility instructions. After seeing the need for specific considerations, let us now move on to see some suggestions for inclusive of a visually impaired child in a regular classroom. A seat should be reserved for the visually impaired child in front row of the class or closer to the teacher, and keep the passages and available open spaces in the classroom clear without any obstructions. When speaking to a child with visual impairment, it should be specifically addressed by name. Modify or adopt the assignments. Provide the students with tactile graphs and diagrams. Consider alternative assignments. For example, the teacher may rely on Blackboard to write questions or problems for the class to copy and answer in their own notebooks. But for the student with visual impairment, the worksheet can be provided to the question and answer system. Keep in mind that there may be instances when a visually impaired student may not have had exposure to the material discussed in the class, for which the child may not have peer experiences or references. For example, food in an altered form like the popcorn or whole grain or sliced mango or the whole fruit shape, or the materials and sources, for example, water vapor, the conversion of curd into buttermilk, occupations like the doctor, engineer, etc. So, these things should be kept in mind. And creating an inclusive classroom for all when you are having a student with a visual impairment. When speaking, face the class, and if you feel the visual impaired student is not attentive, touch her or him on the shoulder or arm to draw the attention. This also helps in indicating to the student that you are including him or her in your instructions and discussions. Provide a large print or Braille versions when needed so that the visually impaired child can follow the classroom text-based teaching and lessons along with their sighted peers. Assign a student or a child to provide assistance or help when needed. Using real objects to allow the students to learn and experience through touch. We can make our lessons inclusive and also interesting by using hands-on methods and making as many experiences as we can an interactive way of teaching. Use a mixed group. So, the children should be divided into groups which are having children with normal sight and children with visual impairment, so that they will be closer and need the teaching utilization of concrete material for the visual impaired child. Reorganize the classroom so that you can easily assist the visually impaired student when needed, such as in a semicircle way or in a circular classroom arrangement. Flexibility. We should be flexible in accepting the deadlines of assignment. For example, a visually impaired student cannot do everything alone and needs the help of the classmates when they are involved in a group assignment, as the student may require more time to process some of the information that are easily available or easily accessible to their sighted friends. Give specific directions when addressing the whole class. Using verbal expressions to go on with the facial expressions in the class is a must. If a visually impaired child is not attending or following directions, it is likely that he is not able to understand what is expected of behavior in the classroom. So, a visually impaired child may begin or talking to the neighbor, not realizing that the class is following the work on the board. So, make sure that the student understand what is expected of him or her. So, after having understood the seating arrangements or the classroom provisions that has to be made when having a visually impaired child, let us move on to see some basic principles. Visual impaired children are expected to cover the same curriculum and syllabus as their sighted friends under the inclusive setup. But the curriculum in its original form may not be reachable for visually impaired child. Appropriate adaptations in the curriculum are required so that it is not diluted in terms of content but the methods and materials. When you are thinking about the content, the methods and material in an inclusive classroom, it is basically visual, whereas most information received by a visually impaired child is through touch and hearing. Hence, there is a need for adaptations to be made in the curriculum and special approaches basing on the multisensory experiences. Lot of incidental learning takes place in case of a sighted child, but for a visually impaired child, it is mediated learning. Now, we will see some of the principles. The principles of curricular adaptation for visually impaired children. The special teacher has to convert the visual experiences into non-visual experiences. There are 4 ways by which we can adopt the curriculum. The first one is duplication. Here, the teacher duplicates the content, the material or the method for a visually impaired child. For example, the printed matter in the textbook is duplicated in Braille. A printed diagram in the textbook is embossed for him. Modification. Modification in terms of content, method of display or the type of material used and response from the child. At a primary level, especially when the child is in first standard, the evaluation can be done orally. By the end of first year, the visual child with normal intelligence masters the Braille. Later on, he can write the exams in Braille. The next method is substitution. Sometimes there is no suitable means of modification, then the teacher has to substitute the matter. It is expected that a sighted child has to draw the diagram of an eye. A visually impaired child must get the concision of describing and the structure of eye instead of drawing an eye. The next method is omission. The pictures in the textbook like the geography, the maps, the science diagrams cannot be adapted instantly in the same textbook because of the technical reasons. The principle of the omission can be used in these cases. So, these are some of the methods of adapting the curriculum. And while adopting the material for visually impaired children, the teacher should bear in mind some of the important points. What are they? They are, as far as possible, try to use the material in original form. the material has to be duplicated in the format accessible to the visually impaired child, like the material can be in large prints or it can be in braille. The models can be effectively used to substitute the experiences. And the next important suggestion is choose the right equipment, and the teacher must always carry the material adaptation kit to help the child with visual impairment. Use the easiest approach to adapt the material. When adapting the material, try to make it more child friendly and also sometimes for the sighted children also. Now let us see some of the basic principles we should consider while training a child with visual impairment. The first one is overall cognition. Encourage the children with visual impairment to touch physical objects more frequently and use simple verbal descriptions to strengthen the concepts of understanding of the objects and events. Sensory training. Strengthen the sensory training on senses other than vision, like the sense of touch, hearing, smell and taste. Residual vision. Assist the children with visual impairment in protecting and making good use of their residual vision. Personal experience. Encourage the children with visual impairment to participate actively in activities so as to enrich their life. Avoid helping them on everything, but allow them to learn independently as appropriate as possible. Awareness of assistive devices. Training in using the assistive devices is one of the important parameters in success of the education of children with disabilities. But only provision of these devices is not sufficient, but training of these children is also required. Adequate training must be given to the children in using these assistive devices. Though these devices are usually taught by the special children, the general teachers are also encouraged to learn or get trained in using the assistive devices, so that when they encounter situations while teaching these skills, the special teachers may not be available. So, short-term training in use of these devices will definitely come a long way for regular teachers. Though some equipment is pertinent to specific disability groups, most of the teaching devices can be used in general classrooms also. Therefore, familiarity with the devices will be very helpful to the teacher. Let us now move on to see what is the role of teacher when managing the visually impaired child in a regular classroom. Visually impaired children are now attending the regular classrooms in increasing numbers. Excepting a few modifications, they are also pursuing the same general curriculum in regular schools. The resource teacher is there to provide the resource room instruction to the visually impaired children. But as we all know, the education of the handicapped children or the disabled children is a joint responsibility of both the resource teacher and the regular teacher. In fact, the children, it is ultimately the responsibility of the regular teachers, and the resource room teacher is there only for support. So, the major areas needing intervention are the physical mobility and motor stimulation, the skills for daily living, cognitive stimulation, language, social and emotional development of the visually impaired child. Regular teachers should therefore know how to handle the children with visual impairment. The visual impairment child has the same right to education as the sighted children, but very often the blind children are denied this opportunity to receive the education in general school. In fact, if a blind child has completed his preparation in a special school, there is no point why we should have enrolled him in a general school. When planning to provide education to a visually impaired child in a regular school, the teacher should contact and consult the resource teacher. The resource teacher, who is specialist in methodology of special education, can guide this regular teacher in the teaching the learning process. The regular teacher should ask the visually impaired child to care for his own material as a part of an effort to foster the sense of independence. He may ask a sighted child in the class to act at times as a guide as long as the visually disabled child does not become too independent or independent of him. The blind child should be treated in the same way as the sighted child. The same experiences should be provided both to the normal child and the visually impaired child. The regular teacher should encourage the healthy interaction between the visually impaired child and the sighted children. The visually impaired children should be encouraged by the regular teacher to participate in many activities of the school as possible. If it is not possible for the child to join with the rest of the class in some activities, the regular teacher should plan some alternative activity for him. The regular teacher should give him some kind of special tasks that are given to other children. Adequate illumination is also a must consideration, and the seating arrangement is also very important. The child should be seated so that he can best see the chalkboard and other material. While teaching, most of the teachers use many non-verbal signs or cues which are inappropriate for visually impaired. It is therefore important for the teacher to verbalize the intents to visually impaired child. So, today we have learnt what is visual impairment and what are the classroom arrangements that has to be taken care when having a visually impaired child in the class, and also we have learned some of the teaching strategies and the principles to be followed when we are having curriculum adaptations when a visually impaired child is present in a normal regular classroom. And also we went on to see the role of a teacher when having to teach a visually impaired child in a normal classroom along with the sighted children. So, we understood that the students with visual impairment need an educational system that meets the needs of the individual students and fosters their independence and measure the success of each individual in the school as well as in the community. Hope you have understood the lesson. Thank you.